Hi, and welcome to FrazlCast. Climb aboard the Gnome Train.
Woo! Chugga, 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 woo!
Please make sure to keep your limbs and experimental instruments inside the train at all times. And now, on with the show.
A podcast by a Blizzard fan gnome about World of Warcraft and geeky stuff. I promise you, they do talk about the World of Warcraft. They just go off the rails sometimes.
So, get your ranch out. Combine it with a cupcake. I'm never going to let our guests live this down. That has to be my favorite tweet of all time. Well, that or the 30 to 50 feral hogs. But that's all. So, I'm Frazley, and I am joined by PlaggyBoy of Load Screen Podcast. So, on this episode, we will get to know Plaggy, hear about their podcast, ask about their hobbies, and read off your favorite load screen tips. But before we do all of that, I think it's time for something. Man, I'm bad at timekeeping. Epicinsanity, what time is it?
It's time to go around the table.
Great idea. So what have you been up to recently? We'll start with Plaggy, because you're the guest.
Well, most recently, hi everybody, hi, I'm Plaggy. Most recently, I've been trying to figure out when it was okay for me to start talking.
That's always that awkward thing when you're a guest on the show. You're like,
yeah.
Do I talk now?
Honestly, I've been working a whole lot. I'm a custodian with a school district, and with it being the summer, there's a lot of like deep cleaning summer stuff to do. It's been a bit. That's why I have no hair, because I got sick of the humidity. But I've been playing some Vigia games when I can. Been hitting up WoW. Been playing a lot more Overwatch than WoW, actually. Went into Eternal Palace again with Rubber Chicken Coalition of Convert to Raid. And went in with Rectified. Was going to do Heroic into Mythic there, and decided, I'd rather just take a more casual approach. I'm casual scum. But beyond that, just, playing games. Oh, and about playing other games. Okay, if I may just say, Overwatch 222 roll queue cannot come fast enough. Oh my god, okay. I was playing earlier and I was on my boy Wrecking Ball Hammond. I was the only tank. Nobody else went tank. Nobody went heals. At the beginning, I'm like, hey, can we get a second tank? Preferably a shield tank. And could we get 2 healers? No one responded. And then lo and behold, late in the game, every DPS and their mother is spamming, we need a healer. We need a healer. And I was just thinking, why don't you switch? It's just that simple. Switch. I need my roll queue. And I'm done with that now. What have you been up to?
Well, I finally today finished the saga of trying to get an Impossible Burger. So this started back around May because I had heard a rumor that Burger King was going to have the Impossible Burger. I went there and ended up getting a Veggie Whopper, which I understand the plight now of vegans and vegetarians. The Veggie Whopper, all it was lettuce and tomato in a Whopper bun.
They didn't give you like a veggie patty?
Not in the one I got. It must have been out of it or something, but I just got like a piece of bread with lettuce and
Frazley, you should have got your money back, bro.
That was months ago. But today, I got my money's worth, though. So I go there because the Impossible Burger starts today at Burger King. So I went in and I got the Whopper, and I made sure to not get cheese, because that's the other funny thing is when I got the Veggie Whopper, I didn't have to think about it. I got cheese on the Veggie Whopper. I'm like, that's defeating one of the purposes of it. See, this time I made sure to not get cheese. And it's weird, they even said if I wanted bacon, I'm like, I'm getting an Impossible Plant Burger. You want me to add bacon to this? No! I mean, bacon's good.
What is an Impossible Burger?
So it is a plant-based burger.
Oh.
And it's supposed to be better than like the Boca Burgers, because I've tried those and don't love Boca Burgers, but it's supposed to taste like meat without being meat.
I feel like I should know this already. Are you vegetarian?
No, but ever since I was on the episode of Food and Fury with Amanda Sloan, I have been wanting to replace meat here and there, because I eat more red meat sometimes than I should, so I'm trying to like cut back here and there. I'm like, if I can replace things here and there with some vegetarian options.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, and like I've been doing OCI. acai bowls. I gotta remember how to say it.
Meanwhile, I hit a new low today and ate 2 whole frozen pizzas by myself.
I've done that. I've been there.
There was no ranch on the pizzas.
Oh,
They were Jack's frozen pepperoni pizzas. But I should have put ranch on it. I also should have dumped an entire Frosty on it.
yes.
Are you listening, Nomad? Are you listening, Techie? I hope.
And Allie.
And Allie. Hi, Allie. I didn't forget you, I swear.
And also, Kappa put a baked potato inside of a Frosty as well. And he showed me that picture.
What?
Yeah.
Let's follow this through here. What is any French fry but a very thoroughly whittled potato?
That is true.
And I don't know, you're not cutting the fries, you're not cutting the potatoes into fries, you're sitting there whittling it with a little knife, like you're a retiree in South Florida without a care in the world.
And you want to know the best scoop for Frosties? Chick-fil-A, their French fries are the waffle fries. You can scoop up so much of the Frosty with it. Oh, it is delicious. Just as delicious as also getting my Kotiran shaman up to 120.
Hooray!
So I was working with Islands with Capital on Tuesday, and then a bunch of back-to-back time walking. So I did the time walk again in the Dark buff. So now that it completes all of my Kotiran. So the next one I'm going to do at some point is my Worgen Rogue, because they're getting the top hats and the new models.
That is something I forgot to say that I've been up to. I turned my Warlock into a Worgen.
Ooh.
Yeah, he's mangy boy.
With hair on his chest, right?
Technically, yeah. The best kind of yeah.
We all have interesting pasts. I mean, and now that Worgen has an interesting past, the same way that you've got an interesting past. How did you get into gaming?
Well, it all started when I was 7, and I saw this man who claimed to be my uncle do this thing with a garden hose that just haunts me to the... No. Honestly, I hear people answer this question all the time with stuff like, oh, well, my older brother, or my mom got me in, or my dad, or, well, for Christmas I got... No, I didn't have none of that. So for me, my mom did not want me playing video games, and I don't remember why. It was probably some stupid 90s reason. But my dad somehow got a hold of a PlayStation, and he had one at his place, and I would play Spyro there. But what really got me started into it all was the original Nintendo that somebody was throwing away 2 houses down, and I fished out of the trash, and I still have it somewhere. From there, if I'm remembering right, my mom made me take the Nintendo to my dad's house for some reason. But then Christmas 1999, I got the Pokemon Special Pikachu Edition Game Boy Color with Pokemon Yellow, and it was the best Christmas I ever had. And I've been playing video games pretty regularly ever since then. The first, action console, that wasn't Nintendo or a really old one, I guess would... And the PlayStation doesn't count, because, it was just one game and a bunch of demos. But in early high school, I bought my own original Xbox, and eventually switched over to PC.
Nice.
Yeah!
So when you got into the PC, what was that, about 2002, 2003?
Actually, later. It was maybe 2006. I had gotten into Halo, and I was actually in a Halo clan called the Last Snipers. I joined that because a couple friends at school were in that, and I was like, I want to check this out. And then I went and checked it out, and I really liked it, and I just got huge into Halo. I already liked it on Xbox, but PC was where I really started online gaming was with Halo.
And I bet you're excited for the Master Chief Collection coming to PC.
You have no idea, dude. I am absolutely going to be playing the absolute heck with 2 C's out of that.
Nice. I remember playing Combat Evolved, and I was sad when Halo 2 got delayed, and no, it wasn't delayed. It was canceled for PC, if I remember right.
It came out for Vista, and nobody played it. So
Yeah.
because nobody wanted Vista, because Vista was garbage. And then they just stopped making it, and people were like, well, this sucks. Can we get it on 7? And they're like, no. No, 7 was after Vista, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Because I remember we, for the longest time, did not want to upgrade from XP because of how bad Vista was. Then 7 was the first time we were like, okay, we are going to upgrade to 7. And now we're on 10. And 10's working pretty fine for me. I'm actually running right now on 10.
I have a love and hate relationship with 10. As an operating system, I like it. With all the little extra bells and whistles that I don't want, that I can't turn off, I want to drop kick it off a cliff into a river made of lava.
I will be right there with you, because it's like, just give me the specific things. I cannot get Skype for Business to stop opening up now. I opened it up once, and now it's like every time, hey, you want to do Skype for Business? No.
I keep getting this stupid OneDrive thing showing up, and I don't want anything to do with that.
Now, cloud-based is good when your battery gets swole. So, like,
I mean, sure.
I basically found out, I took my MacBook in because it was not closing the lid properly, and they said,
Ugh.
"Oh, your battery is very swollen." In this repair, are you worried about data loss? Had everything backed up. I was like, I'm good. So that at least felt good.
So your battery went and got swole, spent some time with Broden in the Iron Temple.
Yeah, and funny enough, it got swollen the same time that my cat likes to weigh himself on our scale, and I get updates from the scale when it uploads.
That's hilarious.
He actually weighed himself over 2 days and lost like 0.1 pounds. So
Hey, man, good for your cat.
I know.
Your cat's about to go to the club, get an ego from being so skinny.
Exactly.
Back to the Halo thing, because this question always ends up coming up, and it's not on your list here, so I'm gonna address it because I've been asked by a fair amount of people. My name, PlaggyBoy, or just Plaggy, people are like, where the heck did you come up with that? And I was like, well, it's always a long story, but since I've mentioned Halo and the Halo clan I was in, there was a guy in there. His name, I think his real first name was Gary, but his gaming name was Plag, as in like the disease, like Plague. Side note, he once crashed his motorcycle into a cow. My one friend, who I'll be mentioning again in a minute here, she was always referred to him as Plagoo. So then later on, when I was making a Death Knight in WoW, I named him Plagoo. And then that got shortened to Plag, because, you know, that's what people do in this game. They just call you the first syllable of your name.
Yeah.
So, like, if your name is Assassin, you're screwed. But everyone called me Plag, so then I was like, well, I'll go by Plag. Somewhere along the way, Plaggy came out of that, and I was like, PlaggyBoy. I'm trying to think of, like, an online brand I can build, because, you know, I thought I was going to be big and famous, and really I'm just fat and sad and crying and bad at sports. But no, here I am. Plaggy. Came from a guy in Halo.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you became Plaggy after getting into World of Warcraft.
Yep.
So how did you get into World of Warcraft?
Well, that's also related to Halo. My one friend who I played Halo with that I knew offline got playing WoW through somebody else that we met through the Halo clan. Did you ever use a program called Xfire? Technically Crossfire, but everyone said Xfire.
Yeah.
You could always see that they were playing because it showed what game you were playing. And you could put like a status like such and such, I don't know, gearing up for Friday, who cares? But I was curious about the game for a while, but didn't really want to be one of those people. Hello, those people. I am one of you. And so I didn't do it. And then one day I was on Xfire and I see another friend from school who was in the Halo clan was playing Halo. And she had set her status thing to like something like only 10% of people who play games play WoW. The real 90% are playing Halo, blah, blah, blah. And the leader of the Halo clan, both of these people are still on my Facebook friends list, by the way, but he had the same status on his. So I'm looking at that and I'm thinking, they seem a little salty that their Halo players are playing WoW. What's the deal there? Why is that a problem? I didn't look into that, but I also didn't like people being told what they could and could not play. So I'm like, you know what? This is how I'm going to do it. And I said, hey, how do I get the trial? And at that point, it was a 10-day trial. So I got it, went in, made my Night Elf Druid, who still exists. He's 120, but I'm pretty sure he's either a troll or a Tauren right now. But I made my character, had some adventures. That was back in Burning Crusade. So it's been some time.
So in the time that you've been here, what is your play style?
All over. Like, I've done everything except, like, hardcore raiding. Well, and, like, hardcore PvP, because I'm just not good enough for that. I've done Battlegrounds, done Arena, done raiding, the occasional pet battle, grudgingly done Islands in BFA, because, ugh. But, like, I don't know, I just kind of go in, do my thing. I don't necessarily push myself to keep on the front edge of everything, so, like, I only just got my neck 255, and even that was after some extra grinding I did, because I was going to join Rectified and then decided against it ultimately, but I'd done some grinding ahead of that. I play the game, is what you could call my play style. I go in and do my thing. Some could call my play style, altaholicism.
Yep, I'm a proud member. I've got a card.
Yeah, except once I found Warlocks, I kept thinking, I want to play something else, and then coming back to Warlocks. For a while, I was like, maybe I should switch to Mage. And then I was like, why would I do that?
Yeah, give up your pet that you enslave. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, let's tilt Euro a little bit and say that Mages are just inferior to Warlocks in every way possible.
I have not played a Warlock yet. I've played a Mage. I played a Fire Mage. It was a Horde, and then halfway through Legion, I switched him so no one can accuse him of lighting Telltale on fire, because he was a Fire Mage.
For some reason, all I can imagine is Sylvanas standing there smoking a cigarette and just casually flipping the cigarette onto the base of the tree. I don't know why that's where my mind is going, but I can't stop thinking about it, and I really want that as like an album cover, you know?
Yeah. This is why smoking is bad.
You could burn down a tree and piss off an entire civilization.
Yeah. I don't know if it's a old wives' tale, but of the cow that knocked over a lantern and burned down Chicago.
Yep, in Chicago. I think that's just urban legend, but yeah. I want to think that's true. I really do.
I mean, then it would be like that. Those cows have it in for us.
It's a really good demonstration of the butterfly effect, not the movie, the effect.
That's good. The movie was
right.
Ugh. Yeah,
I liked the movie.
Oh, I should go back in time and redo that statement. So I love the movie. That was a great movie.
You didn't go back in time. You just said that. Come on, Frazley.
I'm gonna move along to the next.
I gotta be honest. It's nice not being the one that has to keep the show moving forward for once.
Hey, I'm with you. I'm on show. Sometimes it's nice being the one that can just kind of sit back and talk.
Yeah, exactly.
So you weren't in Classic. Are you going to be venturing into Classic in a few weeks?
I am definitely going to be making a character. There is going to be, my understanding is a big combined guild made up of like AIE, CTR, and Blood of the Scribe, Lagging Balls' guild. And that is going to be tippy top. That's going to be awesome. So I'm definitely going to play. Don't know how serious I'll play. I might end up hitting 60 by the time AQ comes out or something like that. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm going to play yet. I was on Rose's show and he asked me if I was going to play a Warlock, and I was just like, no. But the more I think about it, the more I'm like, maybe.
I'm definitely going to go in. Frazley's not going in. I'm not going to use that name at all, but I am going to be a gnome mage. That's my first character, and I'll see how long I last, because they're squishy.
I don't think we're doing Alliance with the CTR stuff.
Oh.
Well, maybe we are. I don't know. Maybe we're doing Horde and Alliance. You know what? Don't anybody take what I'm saying as rote. Ask Pat. And Pat doesn't know yet either.
And I wonder what you'd be talking about on a podcast, because you run Load Screen Podcast.
Yep, sure do.
So how did you get into podcasting?
Well, it all started when I was 7 years old, and there was this man who claimed to be no, it was right around, I want to say, 2012, 13, 14, somewhere in there. I was huge into Rooster Teeth and Achievement Hunter. If y'all don't know them, look them up. They are hilarious. I was listening to Rooster Teeth podcast. They hadn't come out with Achievement Hunter's podcast Off Topic yet at that point. But the Rooster Teeth community is really well known for finding each other and doing stuff with each other. So I got together like 3 or 4 people. We started doing a show we called Lol Pudding, because we couldn't think of a better name. Our most noteworthy thing was we had Matt Bragg be a guest. He is a member of Achievement Hunter. He wasn't in Achievement Hunter yet at that point, so that was especially cool. And he had kind of let slip that he was going to be hired, but I didn't really say anything. That kind of thing would have been bad.
Yeah.
But before that, it's the same concept. I was emulating Rooster Teeth, emulating Achievement Hunter, and I wanted to make a gameplay channel with a bunch of different people. And, that never actually happened. But I did start doing a podcast, and that group was called the Neckbeard Studios. In retrospect, that's a terrible name. Really wish we hadn't picked that, but oh well, can't do anything about it. Tip the fedora, milady, all that kind of crap. But we did the Neckbeard podcast. We did several episodes of that. I ended up pulling all of them because I distributed them via YouTube because I had no idea how to podcast. I ended up pulling all of them because on one of them, somebody said something kind of racist, and I couldn't remember which one. And I'm not about to sit there and listen to, 14 2-hour podcasts just to find one joke to get rid of. So I just got rid of them all. But that's how I got into podcasting, and then fell off of that for a real long time until Campfire Chronicles with Kara. Zandara, for those who only know her by that.
How did Campfire Chronicles start?
Around that time, I was attending it's like day camp for sad people. It was like a depression, anxiety group thing. It was like partial hospitalization at a hospital here. And I had a good 40-minute drive to get there and 40-minute drive home. And I was getting a little sick of just listening to music, and it was way too easy for me to just zone out and think about how sad I was. Side note, y'all, get help if you need it. But I was like, I wonder if there's any podcasts about WoW. So I found Convert to Raid and Lagging Balls the same day. I will be honest, I resonated with Lagging Balls a little better because their humor is exactly mine. So I started listening to the absolute crap out of them, looked for a couple others, came across Warcast, and the episode I happened to come across, Kara was a guest on it. So after listening to all these different shows for a while, I'm like, I want to do a WoW podcast, but I don't know anybody. I think I had joined Blood of the Scribe at that point, and I saw a character playing named Zandara. I was like, wait a minute. I said something in guild chat. I'm like, wait, are you the Zandara that was on Warcast? And she's like, yeah, that's me. So I was like, oh, neat. And then ended up following her on Twitter or something. So I'm playing the game. I'm like, I am talking to people that I have heard on a show. And eventually I was like, I got to do something here. I got to get this ball rolling. So I sent Kara a DM. I was like, hey, so you're a mental health person, right? And she's like, not in any professional capacity. And I was like, well, because I want to do a WoW podcast that's positive and has stories in it, and so that people can forget about their lives if they don't like them for a little bit, and we can say positive mental health things. She's like, oh, cool, what were you thinking? And that's where it all got started, and she agreed to do that show. And that's actually how I came to CTR as a guild.
Nice.
Yeah.
Kara's always been somebody that has been very compassionate and is always looking out for people. And it's cool that they brought another person to CTR.
And she's a positive, optimistic person who will flush your head down the if you piss her off. Oh, I said a word I wasn't supposed to say. Oops, I'm sorry.
And she has an awesome, huge heart.
Yeah.
So from Campfire Chronicles, how did you start the Gnome Train podcast?
Campfire Chronicles got to the point where we didn't feel like we could sustain the show anymore. Our content was community driven. And as much as thankful as we were for everything everybody was sending us, we didn't really have enough to keep doing episodes. And I was getting anxious about it. Kara was getting anxious about it. We were just like, maybe we should just pack it in. So we did. It was October last year, I think, that I started this show. It wasn't load screen at that point. I was like, well, I bet I can do a solo show. So I started one. I called it the PlaggyCast. And I'm like, I know Thorn. Maybe he'll be on. And like, yeah, Thorn's awesome. I like Thorn. It was awesome having him as a guest. But my thinking was partly if somebody like Thorn came on my show, maybe people would listen more. Don't get me wrong. I would have asked Thorn to be on eventually anyhow because he's effing awesome. I'm so bad at not swearing. So I had him on, did the PlaggyCast. After a few weeks, I'm like, I need somebody to keep me accountable, keep me consistent. So then I found Arts. I'm like, hey, you want to do the show? She's like, oh, heck yeah. I'm like, you want to change the name? Because it feels a little self-serving to just call it the PlaggyCast. And she's like, well, what did you have in mind? Pitched a few ideas. She liked load screen, and here we are. And sadly enough, Arts isn't on the show anymore, but Euro is.
And I had a great time last episode.
Oh, God, yeah.
The two of you seem to really work well together. So I think you found a great co-host with Euro.
Oh, yeah. And, like, I say mean stuff to the guy all the time, but it's only, because it's true. I'm joking. I was going to say because it's true. But it's only because it adds to the humor of the situation, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And also, like, he takes it really well. He takes it in stride, and he knows I'm kidding, or else I wouldn't.
It's why, like, I try to play the crazy, zany person and make people facepalm because then it...
Play?
Oh, I am zany and crazy. Absolutely.
You're like the Doc Brown of gnomes.
Ooh, great Scott! I never thought of that.
Yeah.
Wow, that is heavy.
There's that word again. Heavy. Why is everything so heavy in the future? Is there something wrong with the Earth's gravitational pull?
There must be because it made my laptop bigger.
Gotta get back in time.
I'd love that whenever Pat uses on CTR. So. Yeah. What has been the biggest obstacle you've had to overcome?
Definitely consistency. Quite frankly, the willingness to do it, because sometimes, like I mentioned before, I have mental health problems with anxiety and depression, and sometimes it just slaps you in the face, and it's like, don't wanna. But then you're like, no, you really do wanna, you just don't have anything better to do or something like, I don't know. I was trying to make a Ferris Bueller reference. So like, yeah, consistency, because I would sometimes go weeks without posting. But then the other day, I felt horrible being one day late with the show. So I think I'm making leaps and bounds here.
Absolutely. And I find that having a deadline for me gets my butt in gear. Like this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
I've got a busy weekend, so I know how much I'm going to do to edit to make sure everything's all good.
Mm-hmm.
I want to add to the anxiety because you won't believe how much every week I question my own worth as you're always wondering, like, is what I'm doing adding anything? Is it just adding to the noise? So I get that.
I know that feeling very well. And I'm not going to say it's a good thing. But if somebody out there is really going, yeah, I'm the best, I'm the greatest, chances are they're not putting everything they have into their product.
Yeah. Like there are times that I will make changes. I want the best possible product out there.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say has been the best thing that's happened to you since you started?
Hands down, the rubber chickens. For anybody who isn't in CTR, Convert to Raid as a guild, it's like 7,000 people in this guild, so we have like a ton of raid teams, and the one I'm on that I consider my home raid team is Rubber Chicken Coalition. That only happened because I got connected to CTR because I was doing that show with Kara. Now, I know this is a different show, but I consider that the real start of it, because Load Screen would not exist if I'd never done Campfire Chronicles. It wouldn't exist if I'd never listened to Lagging Balls, to be honest with you. Because if I'd never done Campfire Chronicles, wouldn't have started making shows with Kara, wouldn't have joined CTR, wouldn't have joined the Rubber Chickens, and then wouldn't have felt the drive to start the show that became what it was. I mean, I might have eventually started one, but it wouldn't have been the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But best thing to happen was the raid team.
Nice.
They're my friends. And I'm sad, though, because my work schedule in the fall is going to make it so I get off of work an hour after raid begins. The plan is to, like, show up at the break time and see if things are still going and hop in.
So good, because Ali says that RCC is such a wonderful group.
Mm-hmm. It's a lot of fun.
And you know something else?
I know a lot of things else. Most of it's useless information.
But one thing that's not useless is that you are one tough mutta.
I have been seeing that in your agenda, and I have been waiting for you to make that pun so I can yell at you. How dare you make a pun? Anyway, continue.
Yeah, that's why I like writing in the jokes if I think of ahead of time, because that way you can prepare your stuff. Like last week when the host of ATA were grumbling, I actually wrote in host of ATA grumble. So you participate in Tough Mudder.
Mm-hmm.
So what is Tough Mudder for those who may not know?
To put it very simply, it is an obstacle course through the mud. There's different lengths. There's the 5K, so, 3.12 miles, I think, something like that. And there is the Classic, which is new this year. It used to be, there was the 5K, the half, and the full. Ignore that. So it's 8 to 10 miles, used to be 10 to 12 for the Classic. And there's something like 22, 23 obstacles, 25, I forget the exact number. But people hear that and they're like, why would you do that? And it's like, because it's fun. I mean, that's really it. And there's 2 other variants that I have not done, but are on my list to do eventually. There is Region's Toughest Mudder, that goes from, I believe, midnight to noon, or noon to midnight, something like that. And you do as many laps of the 5-mile course as you can. And there's World's Toughest Mudder. That goes for 24 hours. And again, you do as many laps as you can in that 24 hours.
So how did you get involved in it?
2016, I moved across the state to be closer to some friends of mine and to go back to school. And while I was there, I started getting, once again, very depressed about stuff. And my one friend was like, you should do something you've never done before, like something like physical to keep you motivated to go to the gym, because I was paying for a gym membership. And this wasn't a friend that lived out there that said that. I was like, huh. And I happened to see a picture from when a friend that did live out there did Tough Mudder a few years before that. I was like, I wonder if I could do that. So I just committed on the spot. I'm doing this, and ended up doing my first one later that year.
I have to commend you. That's the second time this episode you've talked about seeing something that you want to do and doing it. The podcast and this, that takes a lot of courage.
I've never actually really felt like that kind of person. Actually, earlier today, I was just thinking about how my life is not where I wanted it to be. I'm 29 years old. I turn 30 next month, and I was getting really discouraged. But thanks for saying that. That really does make me feel a bit better.
a lot of people would see something that other people do and they would just be like, or I can never do it. And you're like, hey, I want to do it. I'll do it. And you've had like false starts here and there, not false starts, but you've had things where you've had to rechange, but you're like, I'm going to get at it and do it even better next time.
When you asked me about this ahead of time and I said I wasn't doing it this year, that is because 2016, I lost somewhere around 30 to 40 pounds. And since then, and having to move home with my parents and everything hitting the fan, I gained, I'm doing math, like 60. So I'm now like 30 pounds heavier than I was when I started losing weight. So that has been incredibly discouraging on its own. But I am determined to get back into fighting condition and just destroy it next year. And, you know, I live in southeastern Wisconsin, and there is the 5K in the Tough Mudder 5K in Chicago later this month. I'm considering just saying screw it and doing that, because that's like 3 miles. I could handle that.
Yeah. And when you go to Chicago, there's some great Chinese food down in the Chinatown down there.
I don't think I've ever had Chinese food in Chicago.
I've heard it's good. When we were up there a couple years ago, we went up to Chicago and we didn't even have some of their best food.
If you didn't get a picture with the bean, you didn't go to Chicago.
No, but my sister did, because my sister donated a kidney to a dear friend, and there was a world record for the most amount of living donors at the bean. And
wow.
They achieved it.
Just if there's anybody who doesn't know what the heck I'm talking about, it's this giant bean-shaped sculpture that was designed by some artist who everybody hates because he's a giant tool, but he's super rich, and it's like mirrored. So like you can look into it and your face is distorted looking back to you. Just Google Chicago bean.
Now, I've got questions on the bean because I was looking at bean puns and I had to look up. I found Urban Dictionary and I learned. I'm going to pull a Plag. I learned what's the bean is slang for. So now I don't even know.
Frazley. Jesus.
I pulled a Plag.
I wish this were here. I want her reaction to what you just said.
I think I'm going to zoom on past this.
Okay, go ahead and do that.
So you, just like zooming, you like cars.
I do like cars.
So I've got 3 questions before we zoom on out of here. So what is your favorite car?
Unquestionably, it would be a 1989 Chevrolet Camaro. Specifically in 89, because that's the year I was born, has nothing to do with the quality of the cars that year. But if it's just a generic answer, Camaro.
Did you see the Clint Eastwood movie Camaro?
That was not Camaro. It was Gran Torino.
Okay.
But yeah, I did see that. I really liked that movie.
And now I want a movie of Clint Eastwood playing Gran Turismo.
Now I want a movie of Clint Eastwood just growling at people for an hour and a half.
You know, that would actually work. I was watching someone was reacting to mukbang, and there's one that was like 3 hours, and the guy actually fell asleep while he was doing the mukbang, and he uploaded the video to YouTube.
Oh, God.
So, with cars, what are you driving now?
Hopes and dreams. I was driving a Buick Park Avenue that belonged to my grandma. And after she died, my grandpa didn't really have any use for it, so he gave it to my stepdad. I've been driving it, and the engine locked up a couple months ago, so I've been having to borrow cars to get to work. My dad has said he's willing to co-sign on a loan, so that I can probably get a car replaced in the next, month or so here, but fingers crossed on that. So I'm not driving anything now. I'm, borrowing my stepdad's Buick Encore.
Those are nice.
They're okay. I mean, I wouldn't want to waste time and money modding a Buick.
But they're pretty sturdy cars because we had a Buick run over our mailbox, and it kept going.
Well, there you go. They're good cars because they can take out mailboxes. You don't even need a baseball bat and your drunk friend leaning out the window. But no, Buick is a solid, dependable automobile.
Yes.
I just didn't get the oil changed often enough, and it destroyed the engine.
Oh.
Yeah, it's my own fault. And I'm going to feel guilty about it forever because it was my grandma's car. How could this happen to me?
What is your dream car?
I'm a big Chevy guy. If fuel efficiency wasn't a consideration, it would probably be like whatever year Chevy Impala is in Supernatural, just because, come on, I'm a nerd.
Ooh, nice.
Or a modern day Camaro. Because they're still pretty slick looking. They're a little bit wider than what I usually like, but still.
1967. I was looking up and I see now a picture of Dean just sitting on the Camaro, on the
Impala.
On the Impala.
And to make it, accurate to the show, I would put Legos in the vents and just lose them.
I need to watch more Supernatural.
I'm not caught up. I'm a couple seasons behind.
Which isn't bad because they're not making new ones, so it's when you get around to it, it'll feel good, but you won't feel like you have to rush through it. Kind of enjoying the nice ride.
And at this point, might as well just watch them all from the beginning.
Exactly. And I'm glad I was asking you these questions. I learned a lot about you, but you inspired me. The same way that when I talk with our community, I've had some amazing answers. I asked you to give us your favorite load screen tip because we are with Plaggy of Load Screen Podcast. So this is a tip from any game. So Leo Wild says Marvel Heroes had cool art that was only used for loading screens and had hero and game tips. This Rocket Raccoon one is the only one I have a screenshot of, but they used it as a wallpaper for a long time. And they said not as much a true tip here, but a concise origin story. Rocket is a genetically modified raccoon from the alien planet Halfworld.
I didn't know that. I thought he was from Earth.
Me too. See, Leo Wild, I learned something new today. So
how are they
you.
having raccoons on other planets? That doesn't make any sense. We got one from Kara. It said, "Don't stand in the fire." She says, "Don't stand in the fire" is a pretty solid one in-game and IRL. And I think we should petition to use the term offline as opposed to IRL. Because what we're doing right now is IRL. We're just using the internet to talk to each other.
Exactly. Because, this way we don't have to worry, I don't have to worry about a noise gate between you and me and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And real-time follow-up about the raccoon. Leo said the founders of Halfworld traveled to Earth, among other places.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. So they got like a mommy raccoon and a daddy raccoon and like made a little raccoon.
And then they stole the baby back to their planet. That's kind of sad, actually. No wonder Rocket Raccoon is so angry sometimes. They want their parents. And Alex says, don't doubt the skills of a raccoon.
Raccoons will steal the trash from your garbage and eat it. And if you try to scare them, they'll just look at you like, what? What are you going to do?
Yeah, I can claw your eyes out. And then speaking of Allie says, I have a few and they're all from WoW.
Your characters can eat and drink at the same time.
Because that was actually a light bulb moment for me when I first saw that.
Smile early and often.
Which is a tooltip that I haven't seen on there often enough. Plus,
there is no cow level.
Because it made me laugh the first time I saw it.
I'm going to need to go change my pants here. I was not expecting that voice changer.
Oh.
Anybody watching live right now would have seen my reaction. Oh my God. The cow level. Didn't that come from Diablo? Like, yes. I'm pretty sure that was a WoW screen tip, but it was a Diablo thing originally, wasn't it?
Yeah, because it was a secret level. I think it was 2, I believe.
Yeah.
And more real-time follow-up about raccoons. So Leo says that they genetically engineered animals to work at an asylum on Halfworld. Rocket was the security chief before he left.
You put Rocket in charge of security. He steals stuff. That's what raccoons do.
Hey, it's like hiring hackers to be your network security person.
I'm in.
Exactly.
I think I might have just messed with the document. I did. Oh, well. Sorry. So, Spaz Wesson said, anything from Satisfactory. Hee hee. I saw you guys playing that the other day.
Oh, that was fun. Sadly, doesn't seem like we'll be able to do it this weekend, but my weekend should open up a little bit more later on. And Spaz put a clip from Fixed It Tip number 40. It says rude. And also, Satisfactory did something really good. They have a thing where it knows when you've been playing for 2 hours or however long, and it'll give you a tip like Spaz got, you should probably go and get some fresh air. Mine was, you should probably drink water. I had not had any water for 2 hours.
I don't drink enough water ever.
I did it for a while. I tracked on it on an app, and then I just got tired of tracking it.
I went to take a sip of my soda and realized I emptied it.
Oh. And Tom says he doesn't get load screens because his PC is too awesome. And Pete said, with 3 screens, I bet it has to be.
3 screens?
I know.
I have capability of having 3 screens. I can't afford 3 screens. I have the ports. I don't have the screens.
I feel lucky enough to have 2 screens.
I need to get 2 screens because, like, I am clicking back and forth between the notes here and the Twitch chat, and I'm missing stuff in the Twitch chat because of it.
It definitely helps.
Like, for example, Allie was saying that she was driving an 84 Buick Skylark, and it was a boat.
Oh, and follow-up from Leo Wild. So he says that the MCU rocket steals stuff, so he used to be more noble and heroic than he is currently portrayed.
Oh, I think I prefer him like this, though.
It is kind of cool. It's fun when people steal stuff.
Anna, or is it pronounced Anna? I don't know. It says, remember to take all things in moderation, even World of Warcraft, or any of the ones that mention being polite or kind to your fellow player. I like that person.
I do too. Anna's fun. They're on general chat, and actually they just released a new episode today.
I'm going to go check that out later.
I like having friends who podcast. Like this next one, this PlaggyBoy.
Sounds like a jerk.
No, I think it's somebody that when as people get to know them, they'll learn that they have a big heart and that they're a really fun person to talk with.
I make jokes about inappropriate stuff. It's kind of my thing. I had said, actually, this whole thing I had said was, I had written, tip, to avoid being killed, don't die. I said that off the cuff. I don't think there's an actual load screen out there that says that. I was being a smart aleck. I'm getting better. I almost said, damn it, go! I'm bad at this.
Oh, good thing the show's almost over. So I said, it's not quite a tip, but I have always loved reticulating splines from The Sims 1. And they kept adding cool things to their load screen because, like, this was one, I think they had to do something, or it was either a joke or something. But they had all these, but that's always made me chuckle. In fact, I now use it. I've got a starting soon text on my stream load screens, and I have one that says reticulating splines.
You know, one thing I didn't mention about games I played as a kid is, I forget the company that made this game, but they had a game called Dogs, and I was playing Dogs, I think it was Pets 4, because they had dogs and cats with a Z. And their load screen had a bunch of little random tips on it that would just pull from a notepad file. So I thought it'd be really funny to edit that to say horrible things. And then my mom came into the room when the game was loading, saw that it said that, and said, you can't play that game anymore. And I was like, wait, what? She's like, it's vulgar. You can't play that vulgar game. And then I had to admit that I knew how to change it so that those words were my words, and then she took the game away anyway for a while.
Well, I want to thank you for joining me on FrazlCast.
I want to thank you for inviting me on here, and I hope I didn't ruin it.
Oh, no. In fact, you'll be back. So,
right.
Words. I've got a long list, so maybe a while. Like, I I just put something on my list now who will be on in December. I'm like, yikes!
So despite popular demand, I will be back.
Where can we find you on the interwebs?
4chan. No, I'm joking. I don't go anywhere near there. You can find me on Twitter at PlaggyBoy, Plaggy boy. My Twitch is the same name, but I haven't been so good about keeping with the schedule that I set, Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays. This week has been especially difficult because I've been working noon to 4, but whatever. My Snapchat is my personal Snapchat. My Instagram is my personal Instagram. I do have a PlaggyBoy Insta, but I don't use it. You can follow it if you want, but there's like 2 pictures there, and one of them is me dead in, what was that, Tomb of Sargeras, where the floor fell out of the boss fight. And so, like, I died before the floor fell out, and my body just hung suspended in the air on, Avatar fight. You asked where people can find me, and then I started rambling about Tomb of Sargeras. God, why does anybody listen to me ever?
Because we love you.
Oh, that works.
Activating customized Orchestrate transporter.
Well, I am back in Ironforge until we one day reclaim Gnomergon.
Let's look at what has been happening in the community.
Awesome, let's do that. According to Game Revolution, the Deaf World of Warcraft Guild, Undaunted, has defeated Queen Azara on heroic difficulty. I heard this on episode 18 of 3 Extra Lives, and as Tom said, it's amazing. Don't let anything stop you from playing the games you love. I love to showcase podcasts and things that are doing some really cool things out there. And whenever there's a podcast right now that does something cool, I like to talk about them here. So Technically PvP interviewed Morgan Day, who is a WoW dev that oversees things like PvP, combat, raids, and dungeons. You can find their interview with Morgan on episode 84 of Technically PvP. I've got a link in the show notes. And can you feel the excitement? Can you feel it in the air? TavernCast has finally announced their first episode. They have posted a YouTube video that is really cool. I loved it. I love the different things like the... you gotta see it. You just gotta see it. I don't want to spoil any of it. But the description says, on August 31st, welcome back to the Thunder Brew Distillery. Pull up a seat and order up another round of Rhapsody Malt. It's time for TavernCast Adventures, our first journey into the world of moving pictures. Coming out with your host, Aloysius, Infernal Bill, and Hawkeye as we play classic World of Warcraft, try fancy beer, and talk about whatever's on our minds, just like we have since 2005. Pilot episode premieres August 31st. Just a little bit of speculation on my part. I don't know if this is an addition to a podcast or if this is the new TavernCast that they've been talking about for a while. Either way, I'm excited for it as I listen to them even during my WoW break. And I know quite a few listeners to this show who are excited as well. Welcome back, TavernCast, one of the great legends, and rightfully so, in our community. And I also want to point out that World of Warcraft episode 331 goes over something that happened in the life of Michael Gaines. You need to listen to this episode. But to give you a hint, the title is The Heart Attack Was Merely a Setback. I am so glad you are okay, Michael. You are a valuable member of the community, and you have been there for so many people. I'm glad we didn't lose you. And before I close out this section from the community, I've got quite a bit of WoW Classic information as we get closer to launch. They have revealed the WoW Classic realm names and types for US and EU realms, along with the fact that there will be RPVP realms coming. These launch in patch 1.8, but they will be here for US and EU. And just a reminder that name reservations for Classic are launching on August 12th at 3 p.m. Pacific. You may create up to 3 characters per account. Are you someone who wants to get into Classic and has not played WoW Classic, or even may not even have played a little bit of WoW? Well, Blizzard has made a WoW Classic primer for new players with all the details that you will need to get yourself ready to go for the launch on Monday, August 26th at 3 p.m. Pacific. And Blizzard has also added 2 new forums to their new WoW Classic section, which joins the Classic Discussion Forum. So the 2 new forums are WoW Classic Guild Recruitment and WoW Classic Connections to help you find your friends, and also create new ones with the guilds. Well, this has been another packed episode of FrazlCast. I got this thing edited on my PC as my MacBook was swole. I'm glad I switched to Hindenburg Journalist to be able to edit on both machines. Otherwise, seriously, this episode might not have made it out on time or even made it out at all. If I had not got to this extra machine for streaming and for recording, it's interesting the timing of things sometimes. I want to give a shout out to Crushinator, who popped into Twitch chat this week and surprised me with bits. It said, Fraz, you're a gem. I'm still listening to your show every week. Keep it up, my friend. And also a shout out to Kappa, who has been talking with me each week, and Kappa helps get me through some slumps when I'm editing and working on the show. He's also been giving me some really good marketing advice. So he was watching this episode's VOD, and right as he was unwrapping an Impossible Whopper from Burger King, I started talking about it. So he said Burger King should sponsor us, even posted a graphic jokingly saying that they were the official sponsor of Gnome.live. Unfortunately, the burger didn't quite meet his expectations, but he enjoyed the Impossible Burger. He said it was better than a lot of the meatless variants. I'll be replacing meat with things like Impossible and Beyond Meat when I can. And a shout out to Val, who has donated bits this week and has been in chat a lot. It has been a constant companion. There are so many of you out there who show up, comment, interact. If you're listening and never said hi, please let me know. I want to get to know all of you. That is one reason I do this. Don't be afraid. I'm not scary. I mean, I hope I'm not. I mean, I haven't looked in the mirror recently. Ah, gadzooks! Oh, that's me. And each episode, I also like to thank my Twitch subscribers out there. Thank you to Michael of the Blue Recluse and the Genome Project, who just got engaged to Selena. Thank you to Erlina, who's an awesome supporter of all things Azeroth. Thank you to Capo. Thank you to Chris of MMO Reporter. Thank you to Razuris. Thank you to Smashosaurus. Thank you to Sal of The Converted. Thank you to Thorn of Lagging Balls and BNN. And thank you to Zorts the Goblin. If you want to support this show, please go to support.gnomepodcast.com. All of these go to help supporting this labor of love. And thank you to everyone who contributes encouragement or money. You are helping me continue this show. Well, I'm Frazley, and you can find the show at gnomepodcast.com. So until next week, be awesome.
A sudden silence from Oldham portends a major catastrophe. It's the overly dramatic news. I'm Hunts the Wind. The deserts of Oldham have been, like so many other zones, relegated to the backwaters of Azerothian history. These days, pretty much the only reason heroes have to go there is to get to Magni Bronzebeard and Silithus before he opens a portal shortcut for you. I was doing just that on a new alt when I noticed something upon portaling into Ramkehen City. It was quiet. Too quiet. Instead of a bustling town filled with Tolvir, the streets and buildings were empty. Looking around, I entered the main temple and was met by a horrific sight, rows upon rows of stone Tolvir statues. What had happened? Had Siamat somehow returned to cure all these felines of the curse of the flesh? As I pondered the scene, I heard music coming from a side entrance to the temple. When I investigated, I found an abandoned cart outside. I recognized the style. It was one of Sulla's. It appears he had gone into the mobile billboard business, since the cart had a large digital display. When I realized what was playing on that display, it became clear what had happened. It was a trailer for the upcoming live-action movie of Cats. As I watched Dame Judi Dench, James Corden, and Taylor Swift dance into the uncanny valley, I knew the Tolvir had seen their future and had prayed to be turned to stone. Because as a race that prides itself on its appearance, the thought of looking real and yet unreal was just a step too fur. Broadcasting across all Azeroth, I'm Hunts the Wind. Check out the archives at overlydramaticnews.com or follow me on Twitter at Hunts the Wind.
Welcome to the Fraz Report, a short broadcast by me, the Awesome Gnome, about the World of Warcraft. So there's a lot to be howling about right now because 8.2.5 is now available on the PTR. Now, it's not available to play yet because the realms are offline, but there's a lot of stuff that they've been able to data mine. And Blizzard has some PTR development notes about some of the big features that they're adding, like they're adding Firelands time walking, they're bringing back Recruiter Friend, and they are also doing a change to grouping where you will now be able to do something called Party Sync, where you can replay content, see where people are at. And now when you're playing instance content, they're going to relax the level restrictions. So you're going to be able to run levels with some of your friends. Now, when you are down leveled, some of the abilities that you gain later on will not be available. But this means finally Gnomergon! We can go back and do Gnomergon and get some rewards and stuff like that. Will you please go to Gnomergon with me? Please, 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 please. Okay, if you won't go to Gnomergon, then maybe you at least do a little buzz with excitement about the fact that we are finally going to be able to get the B mount. And also, we found out that with the 15th year anniversary, they're going to bring back Alterac Valley, and there'll be achievements and mounts available with this. So it's going to be a very exciting time. Now, I know someone out there saying, hey, but the one thing I'm excited about the most about 8.2.5 is the Worgen and Goblin models. And those are in it, as well as the Heritage Armor. And Pete was telling me that the Worgen Heritage Armor has top hats. This is going to be so exciting. Okay, so yeah, okay. We're going to stop here at the 8.2 PTR. We're not going to go into the fact that Jason Momoa is now in... wait. No, that's not Jason Momoa. That's Wrathion. We're not going to go into that. We're not going to go into all the different models in it. But I have to say, 8.2.5 is looking very, very cool. Now, a little bit of news came out also that Blizzard is no longer going to be manufacturing the physical authenticators. So it sounds like the ones you have will still work, but now they're moving people to the phone. And kind of interesting, they're moving people to the phone because Wowhead has found out that there is a string on the login screen for WoW that says email or phone. So yeah, there's a lot of things in the build. And we're not going to talk about the possible camel mount, the war fronts, and desert places. No, not desert places. I don't want to get the weeds of everything. That's what the Frazley News Hour is for. That will be coming on later today. But Blizzard has announced that the final stress test for WoW Classic is going to be on August 8th at 11 a.m. Pacific. And they also revealed the minimum specs. So they're saying that they want to have the content working on things that was released between the 2007 to 2009 timeframe. And they also have found improvements so that the space required for the game is actually smaller than they were in version 1.12 of original WoW. So the minimum specs are on their website, and it's looking like it's going to be an awesome time. So I'm excited for Classic. I'm already decided I'm going to have a gnome mage. I'm just going to go have a lot of fun. Probably going to die a lot because I like Modern WoW, but I'm excited that Classic is here. But now our time has come, and it's time for me to end this report. So until next time, be awesome. Wow, I didn't even get to talk about the new Worgen musical that's coming out, about the tribe of Worgen. Well, no one's going to care about that. I mean, come on. Imagine a musical about cats or dogs. It never happened. And probably never even make a movie about it.
FrazlCast is a fan podcast that covers Blizzard games. We are not affiliated with Blizzard Entertainment, Inc. Views expressed by the hosts and guests are their own. Some of the art, music, and sound effects come from Blizzard games and are owned by Blizzard Entertainment, Inc. No copyright infringement is intended. The Gnome Train intro is by Allie of Dungeon Fables and All Things Azeroth, and the opening music is by Brandon T. Blaylock.
This show is brought to you by Dragon Powered Studio. Find more at dragonpoweredstudio.com.